Hey everybody, it's Taylor with Orlando Informer, and we were shooting a video outside, but it's raining, so we're shooting a new video, new video. We're taking your common questions that I've seen over this week that Universal's now reopening. So on our Facebook community, I asked if you have any questions about the reopening, and I received hundreds, so we're just going to try to go through as many as possible. Kaylin asked, can you have multiple virtual line passes at one time? So the answer is yes, but for different rides. So you can have one for Forbidden Journey and one for Hagrid's, but you can't have two for Hagrid's. You have to use the first one, and then you can look for a second one. Joseph asked, can you wear a gaiter as your face covering? So it just needs to cover your mouth and nose, but beyond that, they haven't released any specific requirements. Brittany asked about hotel pools. Happy to report that the hotel pools are open. Once you're at your seat, a face covering is not required, and face coverings also are not required on the slides and in the pools. Ash asked about Hagrid's and rope dropping and if it's going to look different now. Definitely will. So this morning, for example, around 8:40, they released the first batch of virtual line return times. So you just need to download the Universal Orlando app and keep checking for return times, and then throughout the day they'll release more as they're able to. So not everybody necessarily has to arrive first thing in the morning because they do release more throughout the day, but it definitely does change the way, because if you just rush to Hagrid's, you won't be able to get on without a virtual line return time. Rachel asked if the face covering can be removed while eating and drinking. That's actually why I'm not wearing one right now. I ordered a Coke at Thunder Falls Terrace, so you're definitely allowed to remove it for eating and drinking. They have U-rest areas in the park to also relax, one in Sinbad and one in Port of Entry. And also for any rides that involve a lot of water, they don't require a face covering. Ashley asked how Universal Express works with the virtual line. So it works just how it used to. You don't need a virtual line return time. You can just go to a participating attraction with your Express Pass and walk right in. On the community, Debbie asked, do the masks fall off on rides, which is a common one. I've only seen that happen once in the 4 days I've been here. It's very uncommon. As long as your mask is secured, most of the time the wind is pushing against your face and keeping the mask on. So it's really uncommon to see a mask fall off. Ronnie asked, kind of related, how are they enforcing it? Are they enforcing it widely or, strictly? And they really are. So they've created a new team called the Guest Experience Support Team, and their job is to answer guest questions, but also ensure that guests are wearing their face covering. So I've seen them multiple times stop guests and say, hey, could you please put your face covering back on? But this is a new team that's spread out throughout the parks and also City Walk, enforcing these new rules. Tyler asked a really common question about, will you need a reservation? So some other parks like SeaWorld and Disney have announced they're doing a reservation system to even get in. Universal so far has not. They did not reach capacity today. We're filming this on the official reopening day. So as of right now, there's no reservation required to enter. You just need valid theme park admission, but they can reach capacity. If they were to reach capacity, hotel guests will still be allowed in. So if you're staying at a Universal hotel, you're still allowed in. But they have not created a reservation system. Also, a really common question is about capacity. They have not released any specific capacity, but they said there is a lower capacity, and you can feel it throughout the day. Even though they didn't reach it, there's not too many people here, in my opinion. I don't feel like I'm being crowded around. Claire is talking about potentially visiting from outside of the country sometime soon and wanted to know about cash and if they still accept cash. They definitely do. They're encouraging mobile payment options like Apple Pay, but they still accept cash throughout the resort. Shabana asked if they're cleaning the rides. They were already cleaning the rides every day, but now they clean them more frequently. Rides that have a high touch surface, like for example Men in Black, the zappers that each guest is touching, are being cleaned very, very regularly. They've also increased cleaning throughout the whole park. Like for example at guest services, they wipe down the counter after you leave each time. So throughout the whole park, there's just a lot more cleaning taking place. And I think personally, I felt that it's been really clean. I haven't seen any dirty surfaces or anything that's not cleaned almost after each use at a lot of places like restaurants, certain rides, and things like that. Caitlin asked, is everything open? Which is a really common question. So all of the major attractions are open. There are a few stores that aren't, and then in addition, a lot of the play areas that really just have a lot of surfaces that you touch. So for example, Camp Jurassic, if I ran the zoo in Seuss Landing, the Discovery Center in Jurassic Park, the land we're in now, those are all temporarily closed just to keep everybody safe. But other than that, all the main attractions are open. Samantha asked, is Volcano Bay open? It sure is. It's included. You don't have to wear a face covering on Volcano Bay pools and slides, or when you're seated in your lounge chair, but otherwise when you're walking to these places and at the restaurants, face coverings are required. I also saw a question about face coverings in the heat, which is really common. So personally, I don't feel that it adds a ton more heat. Like if it's a hot summer day, I'm already sweating to begin with. I don't think it's helping as far as, I mean, it does capture heat around your face, but I don't think it's really adding a whole nother layer of heat, in my opinion. I know other people who feel differently, so I do think it depends on the person. But for me personally, I didn't find it that bothersome and prevent me from coming. I don't think it would prevent me from coming. Michael asked, is Ollivanders open? It is open, but things are a little different. So if you just want to shop for a wand, you can walk in the store and you have a personal shopper who touches the wand boxes for you and assists you with your purchase. But if you still want the full wand selection experience, it has moved slightly. They add your name to a list. They actually ask, so it's limited to just your party. They ask if anyone in your party would like to be chosen. So you can pre-select the person, usually, and then you enter the room, and it's just you, again, with the wand keeper going through the wand experience. So it's a really cool opportunity to have it just to your party. On a related note, with character meet and greets, the characters haven't gone away. There's still a lot of characters to see. They're just at a social distance. So they've put them on top of the Islands Adventure Bridge when you walk in. You know, places on stage. For example, in Marvel Superhero Island, they're on a stage, 2 at a time. 2 Marvel characters come out. Once they're done, 2 more Marvel characters come in. So there's just been a lot of characters around. They're just a little bit farther away. So I hope all this information was helpful to you guys. I really appreciate everybody writing on our Facebook community and asking these questions, because I wouldn't be able to do this video without you guys. If you haven't joined our Facebook community yet, definitely do that. It's Universal Community by Orlando Informer. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you guys in the park, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.